Hey everybody, this is Stephanie Janicek. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about Kathleen Kennedy, the Force is female, feminism in Star Wars, and why it's wrecking the franchise. So we all know that Kathleen Kennedy is a big second wave feminist, and she's tapped into the third wave feminist ass clown posse. No, Star Wars does not need feminism. We had Leia, we didn't need the rest of this. The Force is neither male nor female. The Force is the Force. There were female Jedis, there were male Jedis, there are ranks of Jedis, but we're not going to talk about that right now. So what she does is she hires J.J. Abrams, who's a thumb-sucking feminist himself. Ugh. And he hires this guy, Rian Johnson, who's a male feminist, to make The Last Jedi, who promptly guts anything out of Star Wars that made it palpable for people to watch. And he can't tell a good story because he had an agenda. But what is a male feminist? Well, when you scratch the surface, you find either a Harvey Weinstein, a predator, a molester, a liar, or you find a pajama boy. Isn't that attractive, girls? Yeah, I know. Don't you think he's awesome? Excuse me while I vomit. So let's have a conversation about what Star Wars is about and the male characters right now. The OT characters, the heroes. Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. Probably two of the greatest cinema heroes of all time. Luke Skywalker's Grandmaster Jedi. His character arc was to find his identity and to find his destiny. He's reduced to being a homeless guy who's crying, sitting on an island by himself. Han Solo. From mercenary to hero. From lost sheep to having a sense of belonging, to going back to being a lost sheep, doing a 180 character return back to what he was, which is not how you write characters, not how you do character arcs, unless you can explain what really happened to him. And they don't. It's like the whole character arcs of both Luke and Han are not going to be explained because they're not important. That's the whole basis for this sequel trilogy, and we're not getting anything. This is why the fans are pissed off, by the way. Now, let's talk about romance. Romance is a big theme throughout literature, throughout history of literature, of storytelling, of filmmaking. And the romance between Han and Leia was actually a grown-up relationship. It wasn't childish. It was two people finding each other, working out their relationship and going forward. It was adult. It was the first adult romance that I remember ever really understanding and appreciating. Now let's talk about more about this. I mean, the romance, but the idea that Han would just walk away when the shit hits the fan is wrong. I want to explain something. This is a man who'd been through hell in his life, never had anybody that cared about him, and yet when the nightmare happens, Leia is there to rescue him. Why would he walk away from her? This is an epic romance that got shortchanged because of nihilism, of Hollywood not understanding love and what it really means. Let's talk about another kind of love. This is called agape love. When Luke and Leia show up at Jabba's palace to save Han, it is what agape love is, the selfless, sacrificial, unconditional love that is shown towards another human being. And there's also phileo love, and that's the brotherly love, and friendship and affection, which goes between Han and Luke. Of course, we have Eros, which is intimate love, Han and Leia. Those things are very well represented in that relationship, they have a family. Han and Luke have this brotherhood built on battle, on self-sacrifice for each other. Han and Leia have this unconditional and romantic love that goes beyond what I think Hollywood and J.J. Abrams and the rest of these clowns understand it to be. So they destroyed it for, I don't know, to lift up their new characters, which is, it's criminal what they've done to the OT and these characters, Han, Leia, and Luke. Now let's talk about what's wrong with the romance or whatever that is in The Last Jedi. There is a group of fans. It's not a large group of fans, but they're loud. And I call them the Renistanians. And to me, they're likely giant fat cat ladies that read Tumblr fanfic. Rian Johnson tapped into that, and through what people want to say is a romance between Kylo Ren and Rey. That scene with him shirtless was gross. Even, I felt so sorry for Daisy Ridley to have to even do that. Oh my God, gross. What they did, Rian Johnson, is tap into the Twilight shit, which basically is childish garbage for immature people. And, you know, it's basically the idea that you can actually save a bad guy. And women like that eat this shit up, and it's very much a feminist sort of tome, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I learned right away when I was in college, taking literature, that bad guys are going to be bad guys no matter what you do, especially after reading about Percy Bysshe Shelley and Lord Byron, and they were horses' asses. Nothing, if you really look at it, nothing that Byron and Shelley wrote was romantic. Really, it wasn't. It was just pretty words to get a girl into bed. And women, feminists especially, for some reason, really fall for that. And I don't really understand it. And that's really kind of the background around a piece of garbage like Twilight is. It's, you know, you can save this bad boy, and that's the thing that these Renistanians have for Kylo Ren, and it's just, it's infantile. It really is infantile. In fact, I find it amusing as much as they're trying to push Ren to being this guy that needs rescuing and everything, but he comes off as like some sort of bad dude, which is like hilarious. He's about as menacing as an angry kitten. You've got Snoke telling him to take that ridiculous mask off. A, you look like an asshole. All right, you're childish. And what I find funny is that the movie actually, The Last Jedi, actually played on that childish theme for him, and no one seemed to get that. All right, no one on the Kylo Ren apology bandwagon seemed to get that he's nothing but an overgrown thumb-sucking baby. But that's the kind of guy that these feminazis who wear the Force's female t-shirts and walk around lording it over good men, masculine men that will be there for you and help you, that, like Han and Leia, he saves her, she saves him, that kind of thing, we can't have that, right? I mean, and that's what a guy like lifting up somebody like Kylo Ren does, is it destroys that ideal masculine character, and it's actually Kylo Ren is, I think, very emasculating, but that's what Rian Johnson wants, that's what J.J. Abrams wants, and that's what Kathleen Kennedy wants. Someone's going to have to explain it to me how she's been married to Frank Marshall for so long, because, I mean, I can't see any man with a pair wanting to hang around with her more than 5 minutes. I really can't. But, no, I had to address this because a lot of people have been putting this out there, and honestly, this forces female shit hurts Star Wars, and you can tell by the Rotten Tomatoes audience rating. Here's the deal. Back in the day, and I'm going to leave you with this, back in the day when I was a kid, not a lot of girls liked Star Wars. I was a tomboy, all right? But I loved it. But Leia was my hero as a woman, because she was able to do and be the equal of all the guys. And I mean equal because she brought different things. Male and female relationships are yin and yang, all right? You are not the exact same as he is. You're not superior to him. When the push comes to shove and you get into a physical fight, you will get your ass kicked, let me tell you, okay? And that is not being an equal to a man, to be able to do that physically to a man. What being equal to a man is, you bring a different kind of thing to a relationship. You bring your vulnerability. You bring your emotionality. You bring your feminine strength. All right? Well, he brings his physical strength, his ability to get a problem solved, his masculine need to take care of you, and you have a feminine need to take care of him. That's what Han and Leia were about, all right? That's what Luke and his sister were about, okay? Luke's need to be there for his friends, the phileo love that he had for Han, and the same thing that Han had for him, the phileo love he had for Leia, and the same thing he had she had for him. That is what Star Wars, in that relationship, that family unit, was about, okay? And to destroy that, basically Kathleen Kennedy has rendered Star Wars meaningless. All the mythos, what the Force is, what it isn't, all the things that came before, it was rendered meaningless. For what? A political agenda? I mean, it kind of makes you wonder, what she really thought of Steven Spielberg, having worked for him, and, George Lucas. Because it's her attitude towards men is really kind of sad and sour. And the fact that she hired 2 pajama boys to be directors, and that they take the emasculation of Star Wars that much further, it really says a lot about these people and who they are. So I want you all to think about that, and have a good afternoon, and leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you around the galaxy. And, I'm going to give you one advice. If you want to read or want to prove to Disney that they're wrong, buy Expanded Universe books. I just bought the Admiral Thrawn trilogy, and I can't wait to get them. They're coming this week. To break back into those and remind myself what Star Wars was about. And if you start buying that stuff, Disney might get the hint that they're not getting the real Star Wars fans to buy their crap, and maybe they'll change. Or maybe they'll just stop, which would be fine by me. But this is Steph. See you in the galaxy. Talk to you later.